Hello 5, it's the last Monday of April, and next week I have finals. School is almost finished. This week's question of the week is, where do you think people who live in Hawaii and vacation places like Hawaii, the Bahamas, where do they go for vacation? I'm looking forward to hearing the answers of the other 5 on the following videos, and all of you watching in the comments if you wish. My answer to that is I think they probably go to places like maybe like Colorado, like especially with places like Hawaii. They go to a place with snow, something that's different, because we go to Hawaii because it's different there. It's tropical. They come to the mainland or Asia. But I think like Colorado, because there's like skiing, all that, because they have surfing, they don't have skiing. And that's my answer for that. And so a few weeks ago I got the book, John Green's book, Looking for Alaska. Brian and I have recently started looking into a bunch of his stuff. Over Christmas break I read his newest book, Paper Towns, which is a very good book. I urge all of you to read it. So today I'm actually going to do a review on Looking for Alaska by John Green, or at least what I will call a review. Looking for Alaska is about a teenage boy, a junior in high school named Miles Halter, whose nickname becomes Pudge, who goes off to a boarding school because he's looking for something called the Great Perhaps. He's a kid who is really interested in famous last words of people, and the Great Perhaps is actually from the last words of a man named Francois Rabelais. I don't know how to pronounce it, even though I should, because I took French. His last words was, "I go to seek a great perhaps." This is what starts off the story, and the story revolves around 2 separate last words, the theme basically. Francois Rabelais of I Go to Seek a Great Perhaps, and then Simon Bolivar, a South American revolutionist, who said, how will I ever get out of this labyrinth? The main story revolves around Miles Halter and his fixation on a girl named Alaska Young. And Alaska Young is the one who is kind of like this mystery figure for him. Basically, she is the embodiment of Miles's Great Perhaps, and she's the one who brings about this whole labyrinth of suffering idea, which goes throughout the entire book. Looking for Alaska, the story is strong, and I really like how the sentence structure is built up, because his sentences make every little piece of it entertaining. Some books like my favorite author, which I don't have any of his books here because I brought them down to the valley, Walter H. Hunt, he has some very boring and dull sentences. There's not a single sentence in this book that is poorly written. It's all very entertaining, and just Looking for Alaska is one of those kind of books that like every single piece makes up the greater piece of it. I think Looking for Alaska, it is greater than the sum of its parts. Another bit I love about this book is the characters. The characters, every single one is realistic and believable, because you always like run into these kind of people. Even the weekday warriors, which if you read the book you'll understand what that is, but those characters, they're very believable. And the teachers I particularly like, the old man whose name I don't quite remember, and the eagle. They're both these adult characters in the book, and normally adult teacher characters are like not really well developed in a lot of stories. These ones are very well developed, and you see behind them the human in them, as well as with everybody else. All the characters are deep, including the support characters. But one big issue with Looking for Alaska is I think the ending felt a little bit rushed. I can't really quite explain it without spoiling too much, but it's just like it could have been extended a little bit more. It just felt like they were rushing to get to the end, running to the finish line. Otherwise, it was a great book. Looking for Alaska is a story about growing up and dealing with the troubles in life. It deals with a lot of, like, in high school there's a lot of issues like the idea of like attraction, love, dating, as well as friendship and loyalty. It deals with a whole slew of things that pretty much everyone can relate to, and it's powerfully done, and there's a good reason why it won an award. And a great theme in this is the idea that although people may take damage, they will always be able to be repaired, even if you don't think you will be. So that's my review on Looking for Alaska. I strongly urge you to buy this book, because it is very, well, at least read it. If you can, buy it, but that's Looking for Alaska. Go read it. Lidl, when I come back over summer, I'll be bringing both Looking for Alaska and Paper Towns with me. I'm looking to be buying An Abundance of Catherine sometimes relatively soon, of course in hardcover because I love hardcover. And hopefully by summer I'll have those down with me so you can read it. I'm also going to be bringing both the Dirk Gently books from Douglas Adams, which are also amazing books. But that's all I have for this Monday, April 27th, 2009. I'm Angus Martin reminding you that laziness prevails, and I'll see you next week.
I hope you're somewhere warm and white, like the flowers in your cards. You've escaped this labyrinth of suffering. Wherever you are, I got a piece of you tucked away deep inside my mind. Memories of your poetry and drinking your cheap wine. Thomas Edison's last words were, "It's very beautiful over there." I don't know where there is, but I believe it's somewhere, and I hope it's beautiful like you. You're beautiful. I never really knew you at all.